And welcome to this special edition of Football Friday Night. I'm Delano Little. It's our 25th anniversary celebration, looking back at the Carolinas' longest-running high school football show. We'll walk down memory lane with crazy fans, incredible players, great coaches, and much more. So let's get started right about now. Great memories? How about this? South Meck's run to an improbable state championship way back in 1981. The Sabres finished the season 14-0. They were coached by Jim Seacord back then. Football Friday Night covered a few games that season leading up to South Meck's championship, but the first full season of the show was in 1982. And joining me now is the co-creator of the big show, Paul Cameron. Good to have you along with us. 14 years you co-hosted Football Friday Night, and you created the whole thing. 14 years. Welcome back to the thing you all started.
Thank you. This thing was born, Delano, really out of necessity. Charlie Frederick came to me one day and said, you know, we're leaving so many great highlights on the cutting room floor. We really had to get these on the air, and so we tried to come up with some sort of vehicle to do that. At the end of the 81 season, as you pointed out, we did a special show, a special half hour on South Meck's championship.
Right. That
went over so well, and the advertisers liked it. So the next season, well, there's Charlie Frederick right there reporting from the sidelines. The next season, there's Mickey Sabella reporting from the sidelines as well. Tommy Knotts, young Tommy Knotts. Terry Mooney, another key element in those early years. But 1982 is where we started the show as an actual show. There's Bruce Harden, the coach at West Charlotte for many years, and on to Kannapolis as well. And, oh my, Rusty Jester at Independent. These are great memories here. I'm getting chills just enjoying watching some of this videotape. E.C. Smith, who I knew when I was working in Jacksonville, Florida back in the late 70s. He was at Baker County McClenny High School. I knew him there, and I knew him when he came up here at Concord. But it was the way to get highlights on the air, and we needed that extra time to do a good job of this. And so we invented this show, and it ran in that 82 season, and it got bigger and bigger and more time. And we went 10 minutes, and we went 15, then we went 30 minutes. And what are you doing? About 3 days on Football Friday now.
It seems like, yeah, we do a full hour now. Now, I started co-hosting the show way back in 1991, and I must say we sure have aged a lot in those years, Paul. Take a look at this. Take a look at this.
No, I don't want to. Listen up, team. Here's the play. Fullback hits number 2 hole on the right side.
Our receiver has to do a 10-yard curl.
Men, we've practiced and prepared, and now it's live from WBTV Sports.
It's Football
Friday Night. Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to Football Friday Night. Your head couch potato PC, along with Mr. Potato Head, Delano Little, and we got Blinky down on the floor.
That's right, we got Blinky, our dog that was in the doghouse, and somebody came to us, I think it was our news director, Shannon Reichley at the time, who said, hey, when you really watch football at home, you watch it in your lounge chairs and you eat popcorn. Yeah. So why not build a set that did that? And that was very popular as a set, wasn't it?
You and I both lost a little hair from those pictures, didn't you? Me on the top and you on your lip.
Exactly. Favorite thing about Football Friday Night and your worst thing?
Well, let's start with the worst thing. The worst thing that ever happened to me was the first Football Friday where I flew in a helicopter to a game. We went to West Charlotte High School. I got out. I had the sack of footballs. And, you know, these little footballs are pretty light.
Right.
Well, we had some that were rubberized, so they had a little weight to them. I ran over to the visitor side of the field, and I winged one. I mean, I was pumped up, and I winged this. And in slow motion, I can see it to this day. The crowd was standing and waving, and all of a sudden, slowly, the front row dropped, and the second row dropped, and the third row dropped. And at the very top, a little old man was just standing up as the rest of the crowd sat down, hit him square between the eyes.
Oh, geez.
I dropped the bag of footballs, jumped in the helicopter, said, let's get out of here.
So that was your worst memory ever?
That was my worst memory ever of Football Friday. However, the best thing about Football Friday, as we saw in the videotape a moment ago, all these great friends, all the people we got to know over the years, Tom Brown at Maiden.
Unbelievable.
Tommy Knotts, Bruce Harden, just to name very few, Coach Patrick at Newton Conover, the great rivalries. The one thing that we wanted to do, Charlie and I especially, is that we wanted to capitalize on what high school football meant to this region. And, you know, college football was kind of done in the 60s and became something when ABC did it. They had the game of the week. This is what we wanted, that kind of feeling for Football Friday, because we really, truly loved high school football.
Exactly. And, you know, my worst thing ever was,
let's hear it.
The wet field story. You sent me on one day.
Oh, yes.
Remember, it had been raining all day long. You sent me out to assess the field situation for Football Friday Night later on. Take a look at this. Here, the 50-yard line, of course, of the East Gaston Warriors football field. And as you can see, it's pretty darn sloppy. Right here, you don't want to be in this area very much. Actually, throughout the whole field, we were riding up. It looked pretty good from the highway, but when we got out here, we found the whole field to be kind of slick. I think they'll go maybe one quarter, and things will be... Yeah, that's pretty much the worst report I ever did in 21 years of television. Thanks to you for sending me out there, but they got a lot of games in that night, and everybody was happy, right? Well,
oh, yeah.
You know, I tell you, one guy that we really cannot go without thanking is the other co-creator of Football Friday Night. I'm talking about Charlie Frederick. We saw him earlier in the video. Charlie Frederick did a wonderful job for so many years, and let's hear what Charlie had to say.
You know, I don't know that I ever thought about how long this show would last. I did it for 20 years, and it really didn't seem that long. It was a lot of fun to do. But I think once we got into it, it just seemed like it would last forever. And I have a feeling as long as I'm alive, as long as there's high school football, there'll be a Football Friday Night.
Well said. And Charlie said it just right, because we had no idea. We were only worried about getting the next highlight on, not getting about the season or the next year. We weren't even counting years. We just enjoyed getting the football highlights on a Friday night. Well, I got to tell you, Charlie Frederick and yourself, you blazed a trail here that nobody else could, and we really appreciate that. Thanks, and much more to come on Football Friday night. Thank you.